My name is Natalie Monroe. I'm 45, a high school art teacher, and the mother of a 21-year-old daughter named Elena. This is the story I never imagined I'd live. The kind people judge until they understand it. The kind I never thought I'd speak out loud. But here I am. Because love isn't always what the world expects. Sometimes it's what the soul needs, even if it arrives quietly. Elena has always been the bold one, the dreamer, the spark in every room. She brought Micah home the summer after her first year of college. He wasn't her boyfriend. Never was. Just her closest friend. They met in an ethics class of all places. She said he had a mind that made her think and a heart that made her better. Micah was 24. Calm. Quiet. The kind of person who listened before speaking. I didn't think much of him at first. Just one of many friends passing through our home. But he noticed things. The first moment that stays with me, I was painting in the garage, something I rarely had time for anymore. He wandered in with a cup of tea and said, "You paint sadness like it's gentle. That's rare." I blinked. People usually said things like, "Is that supposed to be a sunset?" But he saw what was beneath. That caught me off guard. Over the next few months, he became a fixture in our home. Dinner conversations, long discussions about books, art, purpose. He never flirted, never crossed lines. But when we talked, I felt seen. Not as a mother, not as Elena's mom, not as someone middle-aged, tired, or practical. Just me. I fought the feelings, of course. I told myself it was admiration, that it was just comfort during a lonely time, that the flutter in my chest was a mistake, one I should be ashamed of. But hearts don't follow logic. They follow truth. And the truth was, Micah felt more like a mirror than anyone I'd ever known. Elena noticed something. One evening after he left, she said, "Micah likes talking to you. You calm him. That's rare." I froze, terrified, guilty. But she smiled. "It's okay, Mom. He's always drawn to people who carry wisdom." It was such an innocent statement. She had no idea what storm was brewing inside me. Months passed. He moved to the city for a graduate program. Elena visited less. Life got busy. I thought that chapter had closed. Until one weekend, he returned. He knocked on my door, not hers, said he was in town, and he wanted to visit the person who once gave him tea, and a sense of stillness he couldn't find anywhere else. We sat in the garden, talked for hours, laughed about books we both hated, cried about losses we hadn't processed. And then, he said something that changed everything. "I haven't stopped thinking about you." Not in a romantic way, not obsessively, but in a way that feels like home. He paused. "I know how this sounds. I know what people would say. But I also know that you're the only person I've ever felt this alive with." I couldn't speak. The wind moved between us like a question. Finally, I whispered, "This isn't simple." He nodded. "Real things rarely are." We didn't rush. Weeks passed, then months. We wrote letters instead of texts. We met quietly, at libraries, coffee shops, galleries. Not in secrecy, but in reverence. We weren't hiding. We were protecting something fragile. And slowly, I allowed myself to feel. Not as a mother, not as a woman caught between fear and judgment, but as someone rediscovering joy. Eventually, I told Elena. She was quiet, Then she smiled, really smiled, and said, I wondered when you'd tell me. Are you angry? I asked, voice shaking. She took my hand. Mom, Micah, and I were never meant to be anything but friends. I always knew he needed someone wiser, someone softer. I just didn't expect it would be you. But you deserve this. And he's lucky. People talk, of course. Some raise eyebrows. Others whisper. But none of them see the way he looks at me. Like I'm a poem worth reading every night. None of them hear the way he tells me, you make me better, not younger, not bolder, better. None of them know the nights we stay up just talking, two people from different timelines, meeting in the middle of something honest. Love doesn't always come when you're young. It doesn't always look like the fairy tale. Sometimes it arrives like a second sunrise, a gentle warmth, in the middle of a life you thought would only ever be quiet. So yes, I caught up with my daughter's best friend. But what I really caught was a glimpse of my own heart, finally finding its match.